Hey guys, CDTVthaG here, and the G, of course, stands for gonna attempt reacting to this album for a second time. That's right, this is not the first time that I have tried to react to this album. I tried it about a week ago, and, it didn't go so well. I don't know if I was just having a bad day that day or if I just really had nothing to say about the album, but I couldn't find anything to say about it. And I must have been having a bad day because I gave up like 5 tracks in and didn't go through the whole thing. So today, I'm gonna make sure that I at least make it all the way through this album. Even if it's still not hitting for me, I'm just gonna express that because that's what reactions are about. And I don't know, I think my expectations were maybe too high when I first listened to it because a surprising amount of people requested that I react to this, and everyone that asked me to react to it was like, this is great, this is great, this is great. So when I heard the first 5 tracks and they were just whatever, I guess it just wasn't what I was expecting. Of course, I reacted to Smokepurpp's last album, Dead Star 2, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, and that reaction is up on this channel if you want to check it out. I am still going to react to the first 5 songs that I've heard, by the way, because I can't remember what they sound like. But looking at the track list, and from what I can remember from that reaction, this is much more in line with Smokepurpp's earlier sound than Dead Star 2. You've got Ronnie J production credits all over this, and I'm pretty sure Ronnie J produced almost every track on the first Dead Star project, so I mean that's a good sign. But let's see if this is a step up from Dead Star 2, and let's see if I can make it the whole way through this time. Florida Jit by Smokepurpp, track number 1. It's the first one by Smokepurpp and Ronnie J. It's called Pop Shit. So I guess that opener does set the tone, and it does, you know, make you expect that this is going to be more like Smokepurpp's old SoundCloud sound. But apart from that, like, it's forgettable. The Ronnie J production was cool. It was pretty simple, pretty repetitive. I guess it didn't need to be anything more complex. It was just hard-hitting 808s and a loop. But we've already heard this. Like, Smokepurpp is not interesting lyrically. He occasionally has a bar or two that makes me laugh, but they're so rare, and the rest of his writing is so generic. The beat was so simple and the track was so short that really there's nothing here, even if it is that older Smokepurpp sound. I need more than that for it to actually be notable for me. I mean, the first track set the tone, but do I really care for it? No. Let's move on to the next one. Track number 2, Off My Chest, and this is featuring Lil Pump, the Harvard Dropout. Oh, and I have heard this song a couple times because this was a single that dropped before the album. And then I heard it again when I tried to react to this album for the first time. And it's okay, it's got a hard-hitting beat, but Lil Pump is my favourite part of this song. I do appreciate the energy from Smokepurpp on here. Okay, this one is already hitting more for me on this listen. Okay, this beat's simple as well, but this one hits harder for me than the first beat on this album. Smokepurpp's parts on it I didn't really enjoy them all that much on my first listen of the song, which that happened off camera, and then my second listen of the song, which was on my first reaction to this album. This timeline is getting confusing. But on this reaction to the album, I like this song a lot more. This was actually really enjoyable, and I enjoyed that energy that Smokepurpp came through with, and Lil Pump. They both came through with that very loud, ignorant, aggressive energy that is reminiscent of, you know, the kind of stuff they were doing in 2017. And I really appreciate that. I like it when we have some aggression and some intensity in here. It's a fun little ignorant banger. The production was kind of similar to the first track, in where it was mainly just this kind of like looped sound with some hard 808s over it. And I hope that's not going to be the case for the whole album, because I don't think I could take 17 tracks of the beats being made off of the same formula. But for Off My Chest, it really worked. So let's move on to the next one, track number 3, One Play. And I do remember how this one sounded because the chorus for it is just, like, ridiculous. See, this one already has a similar type of beat to the previous track. I'm slowly leaning more and more towards the opinion that Smokepurpp just shouldn't do anything that leans towards being melodic or singing anymore. It's not working out. Like I'm best fashion, they know that a young nigga been holding weight. I know she gon' eat it at this with a bitch getting flew out of state. So yeah, One Play. On this song, again, the production was the same as the first 2 tracks. It was just one sound being looped over and over with the pretty standard drum beat over it, just with very hard 808s. And yeah, that was it. That was the beat again. 3 tracks in, the production is already having a very repetitive sound. 3 tracks in, I'm already remembering why I just gave up on this the first time. It's surprising, out of these first 3 songs where 2 of them have had that Ronnie J production, which I typically like, the only one that I've liked out of these first 3 is Off My Chest, which didn't have any Ronnie J production on it at all. Hopefully that's not a sign for this album. Hopefully that'll change up soon. Let's move on to the next one, track number 4, Not Code. Okay, I like the sound this one has going for it. Ain't no place in the world where I can't go. Say you want to take my chain, I cannot go. With me ain't finna shoot with that Glock phone. Here, protein, I'ma get a bitch of meat in here. This girl got a whole 30 clip in there. Florida Jit, we don't play there. You said the thing.
Said the album title.
So what I would say for this one is to get an idea of my enjoyment of this, it's better than One Play, but it's not as good as Off My Chest. The beat was nice on this one. The beat, while again, it was the same structurally. It had a nice little sound to it, but it didn't even really manage to stay interesting for 2 minutes. The way it is, it's like the album just hasn't even started. It's not getting off the ground. It's not picking up the pace. It's not getting running. This might be a bit of a controversial opinion for people that like this album, and I can't even believe I'm about to start a sentence with this, but at least for Dead Star 2, I had something to say about the songs. Yeah, I didn't like them, and almost everything I had to say about those songs was a criticism, but these ones are just, like, not even there. They're just nothing. Up next, we have track number 5, which is another Smokepurpp and Ronnie J track. This is Hanging Out the Roof, and after this song, everything will be new to me. Okay, we got a little flute going. Bruh, that song is 1 minute and 8 seconds long? Why was that so short? It at least had one of the more head-bopping beats on here. That head-bopping beats. That sounds like a compilation CD from the 90s. But it was so short. Again, it was a similar formula. I guess this one is slightly different because this one had 2 instruments on it. There was a flute, and there was some guitar strings. Maybe the more we go through this album, they'll just keep adding a few more instruments until we get to the last track and it's just this super, like, layered, really exciting instrumental. This track was okay. There was a little bit more of an energetic sound on this one, and I guess the production actually did lend to that. It's just hard to say a lot about Smokepurpp on here because his delivery is pretty dull and uninteresting. The way he writes his lyrics is very dull and uninteresting. Okay, explosive start on this reaction. Let's move on to the next track. Like I said, anything from this point is completely new to me. I didn't hear it when I recorded my first reaction because this was the point I gave up at, and we made it past this point. I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. Give myself a pat on the back. We've got track number 6, yet another Smokepurpp and Ronnie J track. This is called Outside.
Just not on purpose. Nigga Nigga feel the tension. Nigga run up on me, turn them to a sense.
I guess let's start with the positives. Yeah, let's do that. I guess there was a tiny bit more effort put into the bars here. Brought my Glock 26 to the hairdresser, put that bitch on extension. There was at least some wordplay there. There was wordplay in that bar. I think that was it, really. It was typical stuff you expect from Smokepurpp's lyrics that they just haven't changed. To me personally, I find it kind of boring at this point. He just sounded asleep for most of this, and that energy is really radiating through the music to me. Call me insane, but I would rather listen to Dead Star 2 at this point. At least you have some great layered Mike Dean production on there. Whereas the production on this, it's just been so repetitive, the same formula each and every time. Let's move on to the next one, a track which I think the title accurately reflects my thoughts on the project so far. It's Whatever, and this is another one with Ronnie J.
I don't trip on that bitches, whatever. All this money, I'm changing the weather. And I'm busting this bitch on whoever. Propane, that's straight out of BP. Pots in the kitchen, still whipping up rainy. I keep betting on me, cut it big nini. If she bad, then I just might go pee in her. Bitch on my dog like it's...
If she bad, then I might just go pee in there? Now, I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't sound healthy. Is nothing not enough, Smokepurpp? You know, I like Ronnie J, but did he just give up with this album? Because with this, he literally, every beat he's had, he's just, like I've said, looped to sound and then put a drum beat over it with a loud 808. I expect loud 808s on a Ronnie J track. It's just that everything underneath the 808s is not exciting or interesting at all. And this has 2 producers on it. It's not just Ronnie J. That is perplexing. So Smokepurpp did have a bit more of that aggression on this track again, which I do like. There was more life to his delivery on here, and I think this is way better than when he's just basically doing a lot more of a low-key delivery. I don't think that sounds all that great for him. So I do appreciate that aspect of the track, definitely. I feel like there's a way for Smokepurpp to go back to his old sound and evolve it into something that's even better and more exciting. But he's not doing that. He's just making the exact same tracks that he has before, although these ones are arguably more boring. As a whole, this album is just draining me. Let's move on to the next song, First and Third, and this is another Smokepurpp and Ronnie J track. Okay, that's gonna be the sound that loops throughout the whole song, and nothing else will be added on top of it. Okay, the faster flows on this track, that gets a thumbs up from me, and it was very non-stop. So at least the flow had some momentum to it. Everything else, I sleep. I'm surprised at the fact that I'm actually finding Ronnie J's production uninteresting on here. It's just a template. Ronnie J was like, oh, this melody sounds cool, let's just drag that out for the whole song, make a drum pattern, throw it in, boom, done. That's it, that's that beat, give it to Smokepurpp. Track number 9. Oh, God help me. Mink Coat.
Mink Coat, jacket, and I'm on Drake, now I got a bad habit. Thought it was voodoo. I'll blow so fast, you thought it was voodoo. I told mama for school, now I pull up in that space coupe. My main bitch, she eat my dick like a cashew. Yeah.
Why would you compare your dick to like a tiny nut, Smokepurpp? Like a very small cashew.
How many bitches you with? I'm with several. Yeah, coat, jacket, and I'm on Drake now.
Man, I just got out of my 40-day coma after my reaction to Nav's album. Don't pull me back into it, Smokepurpp. I don't want to go back. This is going to be the album that breaks me. It's not even shockingly bad. It's just nothing. Okay, guys. I've prepared a book right here just next to me in case I need it. I haven't needed one since the Total Anarchy reaction, but we're getting close. We're getting close. But let's hope that I don't have to pull it out. Track number 10, thankfully, we have a feature. So let's hope the feature is good on here. Track number 10, Ends by Smokepurpp and Ronnie J, featuring Young Nudy. And there's 3 producers on here, so I swear to God, if we just get a looped melody and a drum pattern,
I'm gonna crumble.
I'm riding around in a drop head. Nigga won't fuck with me, watch how he drop that. I got a Porsche, came with a text. You keep the bitch, I with the neck.
I'm gonna take off like Elon. I only want the head, I don't want anything else. Throwing money around, I'm riding around in a drop top, I'm gonna shoot someone. Rap about something different, man, please.
Spaghetti, I diamond my neck. Spaghetti, spaghetti, my teeth like Texas. I'm in hand in heels, tweaking all the pills.
You know what? Hearing someone else's voice is just welcomed here. So it was nice to have a feature on here. We got to hear someone else's voice. Mentally, I feel like I'm cracking. I found this insanely mind-numbingly boring so far, and it's about to break me. Let's move on to track number 11, a song on here that I am actually very excited for because this one has a Denzel Curry feature. Track number 11, I'm Him, Smokepurpp and Ronnie J, featuring Denzel Curry.
These niggas broke, yeah, they pockets are hungry. Shit funny, remember when there was a bomb? Put 70 bets in the chat, they gon' trust me, just trust me. The packs on the way, we gon' rush them. They had it on me, it made me go hard. It came back from a bitch, only time that she smarter. Put them on the
Okay, at least he's got one of those non-stop flows again.
Everybody think they can talk out till they go missing. Now I'm in Cuba, see the boys picking around the corner. You sipping on Corona, wild bullets bad like a Corona. Zulu, still rock polo, keep it sitting auto, R&B lotto. That's my motto, see you as tomorrow.
Denzel Curry and Ronnie J is just such a good combination. Okay, as expected, Denzel Curry did have the most exciting verse on this project so far. Denzel sounded like he was really having fun with it. He had that little fun kind of like harmonizing bit at the start, and then for the second half of his verse he just went with one of those quicker flows like what Smokepurpp used at the end of his verse. Denzel Curry just has such a good control of his voice that he always has a presence on a song. I feel like Smokepurpp doesn't really have a presence on his own songs. As for Smokepurpp, you know what? I did appreciate, again, the faster flow that he used at the end of the first verse. Again, it had a bit more momentum to it, and that's always at least a bit more intriguing. Just for that Denzel feature, it is one of the better tracks out here, and one of the ones that stood out more to me. On to the next one. This is 1 minute and 30 seconds long. We have some really short songs on here. Fishscale, and this is by Smokepurpp and Ronnie J again. I wonder what the beat will sound like.
She won't work for me because she know I got that Fishscale. Peep the Louis, peep the Gucci, gotta peep the detail. You fuck on that hoe and I'm all in her dress. Baby, your diamonds all over my dinner too. Fucking on twisting.
Can someone go through every Smokepurpp song and just count how many times he has said the word VVS? Because I swear it's on every song.
Knock your head off and you have a memorial. VVS diamonds all over my road.
Oh, VVS again!
Real hot shell, straight to your head like hot milk.
Man, it's just all the same, really. There's no point in saying the same thing I've said for the last few tracks. Just take everything I've said for like most of the previous 11 songs and apply it to this one. And there you go. On to the next one, track number 13, the title track, Florida Jit.
She said the coupe look like a cocoon. BD dripping off my shirt like a typhoon.
I'm bopping my head to it, but it's just because of the higher tempo of the beat.
I got Ross, little bitch. I got Gloss, little bitch. You get pot, little bitch. I'm a Florida Jit.
The sounds Ronnie J went for were nice on this one, but it's the same structure. Ronnie J, and the J stands for just do the same thing with all the beats. This one did have an eerier, darker sound to it, so that was cool. But that's neither really here nor there. It's not a praise, it's not a criticism, it's just an observation. Everyone who told me to react to this, you played me. You told me this would be great. You lied. You lied. Why would you do that to me? I'm hurt. I'm very deeply hurt. Oh yeah, and he mentioned VVS's again. How did I miss that? Track number 14, 24s. Why does it sound like he's baiting Sway Lee again? Oh wow, apparently there was supposed to be a Sway Lee feature on this track, according to Genius. Without the Sway Lee feature, it just sounds like a song where Smokepurpp is trying to imitate Sway Lee. I don't know if Sway Lee did the hook on that and now he's not on the song, so Smokepurpp did his best to recreate it, or if this was always the chorus, but he sounds like Sway Lee on here. Again, we're getting a couple more up-tempo beats at this side of the album, but it says a lot when those up-tempo beats aren't really doing much for the songs. 3 more songs to go. The next 2 have a feature, I think, so that could make this bearable. And the next one, interestingly, has a Jack Harlow feature. Track number 15, Tide Pen, featuring Jack Harlow. Okay, the production on this one already, I like the direction it's going in.
Yeah, I'm on some high shit, ass fat, got a young motherfucker quite still. 35 over and they took the license. He's press how I'm moving like I'm Joseph Biden. By the time when they sleep, hit them with the nitrous. Then pockets, obese, diabetes, type 10. Me and Jack mob ties holding down.
Huh? The number in diabetes doesn't represent the severity of it, Smokepurpp.
So much brain, I'm letting SAT questions. $5,000 jeans for a bitch to sit on them.
Okay, that made me laugh at least. That was just unexpected. So much brain, I'm nutting SAT questions. I like that bar. There we got a good bar. We got a good bar.
I just tell him type shit. When she get done talking, let me feel that vice grip.
Okay. That song actually banged. Tide Pen was a track I could actually see myself listening to and not completely forgetting after this album. The production on here was, like, actually interesting. There was just a little bit more to this one. Even if it was just 1 or 2 more layers, the beat was more interesting, and I very much liked the sound it had going to it. Jack Harlow and Smokepurpp actually worked together better than I thought they would. Smokepurpp had a line in there that really made me laugh. So, you know what? I can't complain about that. Tide Pen was probably the best song on here. Next up, the second last track. We have another feature, so that's a good thing. Track number 16, Big Dawg, featuring Rick Ross. Okay, it looks like he saved the best tracks for the tail end of this project. These last 2 songs, I really have appreciated the production. I'm just surprised that Ronnie J didn't really, personally for me, come through on this one. Rick Ross was cool on the feature. Again, it's just good to hear someone that isn't Smokepurpp for me at this point. I've already kind of checked out of this album, but I can still appreciate that this one was a pretty good song, honestly. Let's move on to the final track on this album. Just 2 minutes of this experience left. Track number 17, Chopstix. And we made it this far without having to read the book. The book I had today was a visual guide to the universe. I think in the Lil Zam reaction it was a book about beer, and we did end up reading it. So I guess you can say this was better than Total Anarchy. Not sure how far that praise goes. Wait, hold up. There's a constellation called Draco? Bruh. Soulja Boy runs deeper in the universe than we thought. Okay, yeah, what was I doing? Chopstix. Let's go.
I'm in the trap, clutching my strap, fucking a bitch with my sauce on. I hit from the back, when she ain't looking, my niggas is running the home.
It's that same repetitive sound to close it out. Ending it how we started, I guess.
Niggas acting like bitch, these niggas is cap, I've been robbing these houses since 14. I'm in the trap, clutching my strap.
We're almost done with the album. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have finished Florida Jit. So at least the second reaction was more successful than the first attempt. I actually got a video out of this one. Let's talk about that last track first, Chopstix. It was everything that a lot of the previous tracks have been. We had a different producer that wasn't Ronnie J on here, but he did the same thing with the beats that Ronnie J did with all of his. A looped instrument and a drum beat with hard-hitting 808s. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, but we've heard that on this project so far. Lyrics we have seen before. Smokepurpp not being all that interesting as a rapper. It was basically a closer that represented most of the album. So let's just jump into my overall thoughts on Florida Jit by Smokepurpp. This was an album. It was definitely one of those. It was a compilation of songs, of musical pieces. And there didn't need to be 17 of those musical pieces for me personally. This would have been a lot better if it was like a 4-song EP. If this was Off My Chest, I'm Him, Tide Pen, and Big Dawg, I would have had a decent time. Genuinely, I think the most accurate review I could give this album towards my thoughts is that I can see why it sold 5k. Because there's nothing here. The production was bland and unexciting. Smokepurpp as a rapper was bland and unexciting. At best, you've got a handful of good tracks, maybe 2 or 3, and some nice features. But everything else, just throw it in the bin. Let's go through my favorite tracks and least favorite tracks. Favorite tracks on this one were Off My Chest, I'm Him, Tide Pen, and Big Dawg, the ones that I said I wanted to see a 4-song EP of. Those were the best songs on here. As for least favorite tracks, that's a lot harder to choose because pretty much everything else on the album was my least favorite track. With the exception of a few songs, this was just one big long song because everything was the same structurally. I can't choose because all of it is just the same shit. I genuinely think I had a better time listening to Dead Star 2. This is a worse album than me for Dead Star 2. I'm saying that definitively. Dead Star 2, you at least had some hard and really good production on there. With this, with Florida Jit, I feel like I could just delete this from my music library right now, and I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't even have an inkling to go back and add it to my library. You pretty much got my thoughts on this album throughout the whole reaction. The production, very underwhelming, very boring, very one note. Smokepurpp himself is still rapping about the exact same things. He had a couple of lines that were kind of funny here, but that was it in terms of the lyrics. His flows aren't all that exciting. His delivery is definitely not exciting. It's just an album that really took a lot out of me. I'm in pain. I'm in physical pain. I don't really know what Smokepurpp can do next to kind of take his sound in a direction that's going to grab people's attention again, but this certainly isn't it, and I think the album sales are proof of that. Dead Star 2 was a better album. That's my review. So guys, I mean, that is pretty much what I have to say for Florida Jit by Smokepurpp. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of this project, if you liked it, and I'd be interested to hear why you liked it if you did, what your favorite tracks on here were, if there's any least favorites you have. And that is all I've got to say for today, guys. I will see you guys all in the next one. And this is CDTVthaG signing out.